maybe you see them when they walk out, but I don't know. I don't think it's that big a deal, actually. I think a big deal is the no fitness testing. I can't believe that teams went for that. How are you going to know if a guy's in shape? And you can say, well, we're going to skate him, but I think it's good to have a baseline. Like, personally, I wanted to have a baseline that I knew that, my VO2 or whatever, my other numbers were all kind of where I want to be. And I kind of knew as you got older. But I think you need that baseline. So I didn't look at it as a punishment. I don't know if players, they think it is now. I look at it as like, hey, this is a measurement to see that, Frankie Corrado, Jason Strudwick, Matthews, all these guys did the work in the offseason, because I also want to know which one of my teammates did and didn't do it.
That's an interesting thought, like the idea that you're tracking your teammates.
Yeah.
I hadn't thought of that, but you're right. If some guy steps up and can't do anything in the VO2, you're like, I know what this cat's been up to the last 3 or 4 months, and we got to have a big year, and this isn't a great start.
Yeah, this guy stopped hacking darts in the middle of August, getting himself ready for the VO2. He thought he was going to show up and go 20 minutes on the bike. Not going to happen. You know what I think has happened, though, Struddy? I think, training for hockey has changed now so much that guys train a certain way for hockey, and then they get to a certain point in the summer, call it middle of August, and they go, you know what?
Fair point.
I actually got to get ready for fitness testing now. And it's like two different things. I think if you're not doing it now, then you're just falling behind, and it's way too competitive. The guys that make a lot of money, like the Pettersson kid in Vancouver, there's a great example of a guy you'd probably love to have a fitness testing for him this year to see where he's at. But I think it's the number of guys that would be falling behind are so minuscule because it's just way too competitive now, and you can lose your job too quickly.
No, and that is a really good point. That's a really good thing, because you're right. There is there's sometimes I got to get on the bike or I got to do this to build my VO2 up. But so let's make it more sports specific. Something that I know that a lot of trainers like to see is broad jump. So doing 3 broad jumps. I mean, you probably did that skipping into your office today, Frankie Corrado. That is nothing to do. So that I can track where I'm at. And same with maybe hip mobility. That's another thing I know that trainers really like. But the days of the bench press, I mean, I'd get on that thing and you're trying to just kill it. You're like, what am I doing here? You don't, I'm not throwing a ball here. So I think maybe it's be more sports specific. Just again, so I can track it. I know I can get it tracked by my own trainers. Everyone has their own trainers. Yeah. But I don't know. Guys, I think at some point we might see the fitness testing come back. I really do. Again, not as a punishment, but as a way of tracking where I'm at and tracking each other and holding each other accountable on that team.
Yeah, it's an interesting thought. And, I think what you said, Frankie, is very accurate in terms of the modern athlete. I remember speaking with, I think it was Max Domi years ago, about how he trains in the summer where he wasn't using weights. It was all running and, stretching. He was working out extensively, clearly. He's in incredible shape. But was not, throwing up dumbbells and bench press and all that, where, again, to prepare for the test just to make sure Craig Berube's happy with you, maybe you got to do that. If there's some sort of expectation, you got to hit 15 at 225 or whatever the number is and whatever the denomination is, where it may not be conducive to what you're doing all summer. But I also wonder if there's a workaround with this in terms of them just applying it to the ice. We're going to get you on the ice. So that first day, be ready, because we're time. Because I've always wondered that also. I get the importance of being in shape. I get the importance of being in the gym, and you're a professional. You have to do it. We talk far too often about players who, wow, they really got in shape this year. Yeah, you're supposed to. You're a pro. You have to do that. That's a requisite. It's not something you should be getting some, flowers for, or some celebration that you did it. But I've often wondered this in every sport. I don't know what it would look like, but is there a way to test, actually what you've been working on the ice? Is there a way to test, is your shot harder or better or faster or quicker? Is your stride better? I don't know. I mean, wouldn't that be more?
There is, but you wouldn't know it. You wouldn't know it because all these teams now wear, it's called a catapult. It's basically a bra strap with a chip in the back. Mm-hmm. And we would wear these in Toronto and Pittsburgh. And basically it could tell you all that stuff. It could tell you if your right side was working harder than your left side. And we could kind of forecast, hey, maybe this right hip is going to go at some point. They have all that technology. But I think my kind of takeaways from all these camps, I did John Tortorella's Camp Tortorella. I did Travis Green's crazy one. Actually, Babcock's wasn't too bad. But all these guys want to see is when you are pushed to a place that you don't feel comfortable going, what's the look on your face? Are you still grinding through it? Do you look like you're defeated? Do you look like you're tired? I think that's what these guys really want to get out of this thing more than like the sports science guys. They'll get all the other stuff, right? But it's more the coach wants to see like how comfortable is this guy in a really crappy situation.
Yeah, and I like that idea. And I think that is obviously going to have to continue, right? Like regardless of what the CBA says, coaches are going to have theirs. But every sport, has softened in that. Like you talk to old school football coaches, hockey coaches too. It was always two-a-days. Like there were two-a-days all the time. That's what it was. You showed up in the morning, you grinded for 2 hours, go have some lunch, chill for a bit, get the pads back on. We're going to hit again in the afternoon. And, they're still complaining about that, and the game's softer now, and the game's not as good, even though there was no evidence that the two-a-days actually meant anything come the season. It was just a way for, I think, coaches to get into the action and get things going. But, all you guys bring up good points. I am curious now about tracking, clothing deals and stuff like that for the players.
Yeah.
And you know who made it big was Cherry. Don Cherry is the guy who made it big.
Yeah,
like that's
right.
when it popped, though. That's when it meant something. Right. When Don Cherry would show the players, and I don't know if you ever got on Hockey Night Strut, but I'm sure it was a big moment for you if you did. Like, look at this guy, I love him, he's the best. Look at how good they look. Like that's what Cherry used to do all the time, and kind of glorify, the suits and how good guys look when they're walking in the rink. It was the best, and that was it. That's all I remember, because you're right. On a Tuesday night on Global, I don't remember them showing guys walking into the Gardens, back in the early 90s. It was basically hockey night, and it was Coach's Corner. That's when it started.
No, Don Cherry, being recognized by him was something special. And he did, I met him once or twice, and he was like, oh, Jason Stradwick, whatever. It was so cool to hear him. But in all my years, I got interviewed one time for Hockey Night in Canada, one time, and I got the towel. They take the towel, they put it over. I honestly, I think I loved that towel more than I loved anything, including my family. I had this towel. Yeah. So a friend of ours moved in this for a few months, and I had the towel kind of put away, but it was above the other towels. I come home one day, she's working out in my gym in the basement. I go down to say hi. There's the towel, and she's wiping her greasy face off. I was just like,
that's outrageous.
You're out. Find a place to live.
That's a kick out. That's a hotel.
I lost it. Hotel. She's like, I thought you had more. You thought I had more. Have you seen my stats? They don't interview the seventh defenseman every Saturday night like they do the top guy. I was losing it, so I washed it and folded it properly again. I still have it, but disrespectful.
That's got to be
Frankie.
on display, man. I've seen guys. Some guys get really carried away with that towel. They've used it as